whatever analysis and reorganization comes out of this. Right now, what we're doing is kind of looking at things and giving the registrar numbers so that they can book rooms one way or the other with different capacities, and waiting for them to give the word whether we'll set it up one way or the other during the summer. So in the 6-foot spacing, we rearrange things and ship a lot of furniture out. It's within the building, stuffed away someplace, stored in a classroom. And we're not thinking that as a part of this current effort, we will be bringing that furniture back in, but just figuring out what it's like. So we want to work through a couple classrooms here with this group in 15 or 20 minutes, and to show you what the exercise would be like, and then you could go back to your buildings and figure it out by yourselves or with a cleaner or two, and then furnish those results to the registrar. So, center to center, is the way lots of things are measured, lots of things are described, but it's harder to measure things center to center. How do you find the center of the chair? But if you use any similar thing, you can use right side to right side, and it yields the same measurement. So, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, so like this would shift over if you want to hold that.
So you go from the right side of the desk to the right side of the desk, and it gives you the same measurement as center to center, but it's more easily found. So what I think we would do in a room like this is we would figure out how many rows we're gonna have and how many columns we're gonna have, or columns and rows. And that's what we would do in this room. So we would set up maybe the front row and see how many rows we have back the other way. If I were doing it, I would write it on the chalkboard as I went along, or on a piece of paper, whatever. And then we send a note back to Stephanie, the registrar, that says room 111, 54, seat, or whatever.
Keep in mind aisle. I don't know if you were gonna go down that path.
Sure, go ahead.
Well, no, I'm just thinking that like obviously you're not gonna place everybody 3 feet across because you've gotta maintain access
Right.
to get down to the back of the classroom, so.
So in these rooms here, we could do 6-foot spacing, and it left us with room to stick one extra desk here, so that's fine. So if somebody had a bunch of extra junk like this here, could be put, and it was a nice advantage for a couple of people to have a bigger work surface, but it's not a requirement. And it enabled us to be lazy and leave that furniture in the room and not truck it out someplace, so it was doubly helpful. I don't know if we'll be able to do that or not. We don't need 3 feet between this person and the wall, so this can go here, and then we'll start our way across. Well, let's do a front row here. We need to think about, so 3 feet would be technically adequate for the instructor, but I think it would be practically very uncomfortable to have an instructor 3 feet from that person there. So we can build a little bit of room at the front, just kind of arbitrarily.
You might want to look at your pictures too. You want to try it on this one.
I would think we would probably not have the front row further than that. You instructors will probably have an opinion about that. So,
Especially if they're lecturing, not creating aerosols, you know, more distance for them.
so 3 feet is probably very close to the way things had been before we started about spacing at all.
When you come out of this, you don't want that so tight, but you can't get out.
We wouldn't do that one and then you can have it
But,
Can you do that again? I'm gonna put this on YouTube, and I can send links out.
Yeah, we can't go.
students sitting there,
So how far?
you gotta have room.
Yeah.
So
that
we're
should
not
go
gonna
back.
be 3 feet front to back. Front to
Yeah.
back is gonna be a practical measurement, not a technical measurement.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because 3 feet would be like,
That's a good idea.
I mean, more like that there. What
Looks like.
might work out to be, just for the sake of using a stick, we'll call it 3 feet of clearance, so that when you're back a little bit, I can still get through here without hitting you with my stick.
So even back to the,
Everybody.
And maybe leave this as an aisle?
Why wouldn't we put the aisle over there?
in the middle. Because that's right in line with the
Yeah.
screen, which is good. So you can put the aisle on the side.
I'm gonna go check out the physics deal.
Yeah, I don't know if I have to fix the but exactly. If you were to sit, like, if you were to cut tall, then it was,
So,
you had to put X's.
1, 2,
you know,
3,
which
4,
maybe you
5,
had 2 X's, now you could probably go to every other.
5, 6, 1, 2, 3.
Deanna, you're gonna be in charge of Callis?
Yeah.
I've got the, file for the stickers that we put on the desk, and then Dave Fullerton should have those, so I don't know if you wanna have, I don't know if you'll still go every other row or not, or if you'll just alternate seats, maybe zigzag the seats. I've got that file, when you're at that point, obviously it'll be when the determination is made, 3 feet or 6 feet.
So we can't put this desk here, we slide it back and skip 1. So we end up 6 wide here, 7 minus a couple in front of his door. I would call this 42 minus 4, 38.
That's the handicap
Yeah.
desk.
Yeah, that one. You can push that up if you want to give that more room.
So,
I'm just scooching
we'll
around.
have to put in this, a little bit of stick, a little bit of squat, and a little bit of reorganization.
Carl, can you say again, so you would report that this is what? Stephanie, what would I tell her?
38.
38 for this?
Because look at this, we did, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
How do you get down the road?
The aisle is on right here.